Boa tarde, estamos em mais uma edição Porto Postdoc 2018 em colaboração com a Alinea. Hoje temos connosco a convidada Carmen Gray. Hi Carmen, how are you?
I'm good, nice to be here.
Carmen is a journalist and she usually comes to this festival since a few years already, and we are very happy to have her with us today again. And yes, I would start by that. How do you feel to be back?
It feels great to be back. I always love coming back. I'm a little bit tired because I just got off a plane maybe 2 hours ago from the far north where it was snowing, so I'm kind of adjusting a little bit, but I really love this festival, so it always feels, you know, very kind of welcoming and like being at home to be back here.
And you are presenting here a carte blanche composed by 2 films, Pirosmani and What I Remember. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about these choices and why you put them together.
Sure. So they told me that I had 2 slots to program films, and I naturally first thought of the 2 films that I had really loved and been very important to me in the last year. And I realized that those 2 films are also very different takes on biography, so on, you know, life stories and how we kind of mythologize them and put them together. So the first film, Pirosmani, is a Georgian film by Georgi Shengalaya from 1969, and I got kind of obsessed with Georgian cinema, and I was looking through a lot of the classics, and this one really kind of blew my mind. It's really amazing. And it's about a painter who lived in the 19th century called Nico Pirosmani, who was a primitivist painter, so he kind of taught himself everything. And he's like a quintessential starving artist type person. Like, he actually died before he became well known. And it's more of a kind of conventional view, or maybe old school view of, you know, the genius artist kind of thing. And that's quite interesting to see next to the second film, which is Antoinette Zwergmeyer's What I Remember. She's an Austrian experimental artist who got born into a very colorful kind of criminal underworld family. So her father owned the oldest brothel in Salzburg, and her grandfather, I should say, her father was involved in bank robbery and things like this. So she grew up in a family of these men who were kind of, you know, tricksters and had a lot of swagger and were making up a lot of stories about their exploits and things. And at some point, I think she kind of started to question, you know, where she fitted into all of this. And so her films are her kind of looking back at her own memories and trying to more, you know, make them a bit more ambiguous. And it's kind of a feminist look at, you know, who gets to control the stories that dominate our lives. And it's very playful and very wonderful. And as you can see, I can talk about these films forever, so you should interrupt me.
I would let you keep talking. Maybe we can talk also a little bit about the gender of biography itself in cinema, no? How this perspective from the individual of the family or of the individual comes to the screen.
Yeah, I mean, through the perspective of these 2 films, I think it was quite interesting because, you know, I think Antoinette's film, it's really telling us that, you know, every life story is just a certain perspective. There's no one true story, and whoever has the power gets to control the story. and all of our life stories are kind of like selective anyway. We kind of remember what we want to remember, or obscure things that we don't. And especially in cinema, when you have to just kind of, edit and select things anyway, it becomes even more like that. And so I thought, it was quite interesting seeing that against a more traditional version, which just is like, this is this famous man and this is his life story and this is what we read in, I don't know, old school encyclopedias or something. So I think it's changed that, we accept a bit more today that things are more subjective. There's never any one version. It's all under negotiation and changing all the time. So I was kind of interested in that idea.
Well, I might ask you also if you've been. I know you just arrived. Maybe you didn't have the time to check the entire program already, but maybe you have something in the festival that you really want to see.
I do, actually. I know that there's a Kosovo program which Veton Nakalari from DocuFest has programmed. And I'm not too sure what's in it, actually, but I know there's a program today and I think one tomorrow as well, and I'm very interested to see, because I think it's a young cinematography that they have there, and they're kind of just starting to try and, get more of an identity for that. So I'm interested to delve in and see what I can find there.
Well, I think we are ready to finish, perhaps. I want to thank you again for being back with us, and I'm sure we will have a great time and great films.
And thank you. It's really good to be here, and just very special to be able to show these films in a place that I love so much, and show films that, when you can choose anything you want, it's like a real pleasure. So thank you.